Yes. So we are going to talk today about the importance of play in AAC learning. And that will become very apparent what we're talking about in just a minute. So I'm not going to intro my own intro. Today's plan, this is a little bit unconventional, but that's kind of the way we like to do things, whether it's better or not. But part one is going to be just a boring presentation where you get to sit and watch us flip through slides and yak and yak and yak. Part two, we're actually going to split up and do an interactive activity where you have to participate in a play activity. We've got different stations set up. And you folks online, we're going to get you involved as well, hopefully. You're going to participate in an interactive activity while also modeling on our core boards. So we've got some things set up at the stations, and then after we do the presentation, we participate in the activity, we have a lot of fun, and we're like, oh wow, now I know exactly how to model and make things fun and do all these cool things. Then we're going to come back for the last 10-15 minutes and just do a recap, talk about what we've learned, and most importantly, talk about how you're going to apply this in your practice with your students, with your clients, whomever that may be. So let's dig into the presentation to start with. So a few background things just to start with. First of all, this is a really important point that we learned a few years ago when one of our members went to ATIA. They talked about how when we hand someone an AAC device, we get really fixated on the device, on the buttons, you know, the settings, all of that kind of stuff. And you probably hear it all the time. You're like, my student will be great with an AAC device because they can totally do an iPad already to watch YouTube, right? But the thing we want to keep in mind is that AAC is about language. It's not about a device. So let's talk for just a minute about what communication is. Just let's get a really brief foundational definition here. Communication is just using language to exchange meaning with others. So right now I am using spoken language to hopefully exchange meaning with you guys here in the room and wherever else you are. I can do the same thing if I send you a text. I'm using written language to convey and exchange meaning, and if you respond, then we have an exchange going. You are also using body language to convey meaning as well, right? So AAC devices, no matter how many buttons or how cool the screen is or whatever it is, they're just tools. They're just tools to help people learn and use language. So that's what we need to remember, is that it's not about the device, it's about the language. There's just a tool. And language is just a tool to meet our other goals, to make connections, to fulfill our wants and needs, to express our opinions, to form relationships, all of those kind of things. We need to remember that language is complex. Language is complex. You think about how long it took you guys to learn to speak when you were first growing up. Were you speaking at 6 months? No, it takes years, right? I mean, there's other development that goes into it as well. But language is complex. If you've learned a second language, you really understand that later on in life. And language takes a long time to learn. So we need to remember that when we hand someone a device, we need to focus on the language. We need to know that this is a long-term learning thing. Language is complex. There's a lot to it. And one of the things that really helped me wrap my head around the whole AAC thing is realizing that learning how to use symbols to communicate is learning a foreign language. It's really similar to the process of learning French, Spanish, Chinese, even American Sign Language. They're all different languages that it takes time to learn. They're all complex languages. And to kind of hit that point home, I love to do this, especially with parents and teachers and paraprofessionals. When I hand them a device for a student to use, I pull up just the home screen on the device. This is just a home screen on ProLoCo Go. And what we don't realize is a lot of times when we do this, we sit this in front of a kid and we're like, oh, there's all these awesome words you could use. Go ahead, use those words. And what we don't realize is that we are cheating. Every single one of us in here is cheating, and you maybe didn't even know you were doing it. Because do you really look at the symbols on those buttons when you're using it? What do you guys look at? We look at the words, right? What if our students can't read, which is the vast majority of students using AAC devices, right? That's what they see. Now you look at that and you tell me that's not a foreign language. I'll give somebody $50 if they can tell me every single one of the box words. The one hugging the box, handing the box, shoving the box. My favorite actually is the guy shooting laser beams out of his eyes right here. So you guys get some of it, right? But I really like to hammer that point home that, guys, this is a new language. This is a brave new world. And the only way that our students are going to learn what the heck these weird symbols mean, and this is the symbol sticks language. If we'd use lamp or cough drop or board maker, then they're similar, but it's a whole other language, right? So the only way they're going to learn to do that is if we show them what the heck those weird drawings mean. So a little more background information as well before we get into the play part. AAC, we all know that communication is super important all the time, especially when we have older kids. How many people here work in like high school, post-high, or even adult? Okay. So you probably get this more. We realize when kids are getting ready to leave, it doesn't matter so much if they can multiply 5 times 5, but does it matter a whole lot if they can tell you that something is if they're in pain, or if they really don't want to watch that stupid video again for the 50th time, or whatever it is. Communication is really important, but it's not always urgent. So to hammer that point home, this grid up here is what's called the time management matrix. This was popularized by Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You may have seen it. How many people have seen this before? Anyone want to come up and explain it? No, okay. So this is a quadrant. Everything we do is either urgent or it's not urgent along the top. Also, everything we choose to do is either important or not important. Everything we do. If you ran through your morning routine today, you probably did some things that were very urgent. And you probably did some things that were very important. And you probably did some things like the 5 minutes I spent playing my game this morning that was not super urgent or important, right? So quadrant 1 is urgent and important. These are things that are on fire, things that have deadlines, pressing problems. You know, this is the kid screaming and threatening to throw a chair. This is that IEP that is coming up this afternoon and I still haven't written the PLAF. Those kind of things. We know quadrant 1 problems, right? Quadrant 2 are things that are important, but they're not necessarily urgent. So these are things like building relationships with people, with our students, long-term planning, preventative maintenance and other activities, working on personal growth, health and exercise. This is the category of things we know we should be doing, but maybe we're not, because if we don't do it right now, like how many people woke up this morning or went to bed last night thinking, you know, I'm going to hit the gym in the hotel this morning. And then they woke up this morning thinking, that's not urgent, right? That's quadrant 2. Quadrant 3 are things that are urgent, but not really important. They're kind of the interruptions, okay? A lot of emails, some meetings, maybe most meetings. I don't know how things work where you go. Popular activities. We all do things that are, you know, someone's demanding our attention right now, but it's not really super important in the long run. And then quadrant 4 are things that's just busy work, trivia, social media, you know, all that kind of things, mostly distractions, some fun things, but everything we do falls in one of these. So where do you guys think that communication, which quadrant does teaching AAC, teaching communication language skills, fall into? It should be a 1, absolutely, right? It should be super important, it should be super urgent. Anyone ever guilty of having that fall into quadrant 2 instead? You know I should be teaching Johnny how to comment on this video, but he's sitting in the corner and he's quiet right now, so I'm good. That's the problem is, there's no way we can move that banner, is there? On the bottom? Oh, can I do that? Oh, hide. Yay, okay. Whew. Teaching language a lot of times is a quadrant 2 activity. It's really important. But if I don't teach Johnny how to comment on a video right now, nothing's on fire, nothing's going to break. So what happens a lot of times is that if we don't make time in our schedules for teaching AAC, for using language, all of the other quadrants are going to rush in and fill every single minute of our day. Please.
Okay, so, and part of this is, I think, our IEP goal for language is important and urgent, but our IEP goal may be that they say 3 things. So the true communication, the having a conversation, the teasing them, the talking about the different things on their shirt, that's what ends up in quadrant 2. Because quadrant 1 is the really important IEP goal, the way it's written. I'm seeing you already in bucket. You can go for it, and I'll just add.
So just like Kate was saying, that's the perfect segue right here, actually. Some communication is probably urgent. Problem behavior, very urgent. And we all have hopefully had training in some understanding behavior that problem behavior is usually just another way to communicate, right? So they're trying to communicate something, they haven't been able to do it verbally or with AAC, or we're not getting their vibe or their signals or whatever. So they try another way. And Kate made a good point about there's a difference between responding and truly communicating. Both are important. So responding to teacher questions is sort of urgent. You know, I asked my student a question, what do you want for lunch today? I kind of need to have an answer pretty soon. You know, I can't wait till next week to find out what you want to have for lunch today. So that's sort of urgent, right? Can you say the letter of the day? Everyone else in class is waiting for you to say the letter of the day so we can move on in rug time. Can you guys think of you can probably think of other things where we ask students and it's important that they respond right now, right? But how about, you know, how do you feel about the lunch options today? Okay, do you want corn dog or do you want a Jell-O cup? Do you really like corn dogs? Do you really like Jell-O cup? That's more telling your opinion. Is that super urgent for us to find out right now? Probably not, right? Giving your opinion, telling stories, making comments. Those kinds of things are usually not urgent. And that's just a good thing to keep in mind, that there's responding, which is giving an expected response to a prompt, usually a question. And then there's communicating, which is just saying what you're thinking, what you're feeling, communicating that across. And both are important. If you think about non-disabled students, you know, just a typical neurotypical non-disabled 6th grader, he's going to do a certain amount of responding throughout his school day, and he's going to do a certain amount of communicating with his friends, with his teachers, with his parents throughout his day as well. Both are important. But what we see a lot of times is we focus on just the responding and we think, oh, we're teaching language. And that's part of the puzzle, but it's not the whole thing. Do you have anything to add to that, Kate? Because that's really, I'm really glad you brought that up. So, there we go. All right, so we've kind of got all that background information about how communication is important long-term. AAC is a foreign language. It takes time to learn. It's complex. And we also by now know that teaching true communication skills is something that we all know we should be doing, but we probably don't do it enough because everything else is getting in the way. So communication has to be meaningful and it has to be rewarding, or it's probably not going to happen, at least to the extent that we want it to. We already talked about that quadrant and how everything else is pressing in for our attention. So think about it this way. If you are a first-year teacher in a severe classroom, you've got 20 students, 3 in wheelchairs, 2 with health plans, 1 kid who's a runner. You can fill in the blanks, right? Why in the world would you build time into your schedule to focus on things like playing and talking and communicating if that's not fun for you? Right? You're probably just going to focus on the things you've got to do to survive throughout the day, and you're not going to build that in. But if that is meaningful to you, if it's rewarding to interact with students, to teach them language skills, to model those to them, then you're probably going to make some time in your day to do it. So think about also if you're a professional in a classroom, they're the ones that are really working with students one-on-one all throughout the day, right? Teachers are managers. They're chaos managers. Our paras and our nurses and our peer tutors are the ones that are really working one-on-one with students. Why would they make that iPad that Johnny's got right there important if when they also have to take data and do flashcards and whatever else, unless it's fun for them too, if it's meaningful and rewarding. So the way we make communication meaningful and rewarding, I gave it away already, is by, everyone say it? Make it fun. Yes. Okay. Okay, this slide got a little messed up. The not fun is actually supposed to be on the right column, and the fun is supposed to be on the left column. So use your imagination a little bit here. Let's talk about some things we do in class that are not fun and that are fun. How about matching sight words to pictures? Super fun. Rote counting to 20. Oh my goodness. I woke up this morning thinking, I can't wait to count to 20. Identifying coins. Telling time to the hour. You guys are so jazzed. This is so fun, right? Days of the week. Now those things may be important, but they're maybe not the most fun things to communicate about, right? How about, oh, and you can't see this one, playing with bubbles. Playing Uno or headbands or pop-up pirate or whatever game you love to play. Playing with blocks or Lego bricks. Playing peekaboo. Dancing, tickling, silly faces, silly voices. YouTube, memes, music videos, jokes. It's a little bit heavy-handed approach on this slide, but you can kind of see the point we're trying to make here, right? We do things that we have to do. They're not necessarily. I know we can make an argument for saying we can make academics fun. I'm not trying to say don't do ever do academics, but we need to balance that out with realizing that there's also fun things we can do as well in our classrooms. Fun equals play. That's the whole point. That's all of our slides so far are beginning to that one word, play, because play makes it fun and fun makes it meaningful and rewarding, and that makes us want to actually build time into our day to do it. Y'all with me so far? Can I get an amen? Yes. Okay. I've never done that in a presentation before. Yeah, it was Emma Houston on Wednesday. She got me going. And Christian. So play is important for growth and development. Play is actually a super important part for the growth and development of pretty much every social species out there. They've actually done studies. We can't do this with humans for ethical reasons, but they've actually done studies where they can deprive mice pups of play. You know, they separate them from their peers. They don't get to play with the other mice pups. And they can see when they reach adulthood, they're less intelligent. They can't solve problems. They're less socially adept. They're just deprived in every single way because they were deprived of play. We learn important skills through play. I'm going to mention a couple, and then we're going to see what other ideas you guys have. We learn about engagement with a task with others, about paying attention to things through play. We learn about that give and take of your turn, my turn. I say something, you say something, I do something, you do something back. That reciprocity is a really important part of everything we do as a social species. We learn problem solving and social skills. What else do we learn through play? You guys' turn. We learn social roles. You want to expand on that just a little bit?
Like kids playing house, learn different roles that you can play. I watch kids play teacher. I even watched my own little one like grab like puzzle pieces and play family with them.
Awesome. I love it. Who else? Do you guys want the mic or do you just want me to repeat it? Fine and gross motor skills. Amen. How many OTs are like, yes, hallelujah. Fine and gross motor skills through play. Awesome. Something else? Oh, yeah, totally, right? Humor is at its core playful. And that's what makes it fun. Yes, I love it. Anything else, you guys?
Inappropriate, swear, and do things to get the attention. So it's how humor can be appropriate. So it's fun.
And we learn through play what humor is appropriate and what's not. Yeah, totally. So let's talk, excuse me, real briefly about play and language development. I have a picture here of a mother with a newborn. Think about moms and babies and how we just naturally make language fun and playful. What do? How many of you have done the sing song, the baby talk, you know, with your young ones, right? Playful interactions. We just do this naturally, you guys. Peekaboo. Do you guys know what the drop game is? That's where the baby has that spoon and it's, you got to drop it and pick it up and yeah. And they could do it for hours and we're tired in like 2 minutes of this, but nursery rhymes, songs, dance, these are things we naturally do with babies to make it playful, make it fun. We explore big emotions through play and emotional roles and emotional regulation through play. We make things fun by being animated and playfully dramatic. How many of you guys have been with a young child who their favorite thing is to push you down and then you dramatically fall down, right? That's not real life, but it's fun, right? And early forms of play evolve into more complex forms of imagination and dialogue, external dialogue and internal dialogue. They evolve into introspection, a lot of other things. So question for you guys, I'm going to give you guys a chance to, what I want you to do is think about how can you incorporate these principles of play and language development into AAC learning. Think about that for a second and then.
Sorry. Just thinking about how to do this with kids that are older. AAC often comes in later, and sometimes it doesn't come in until 4th, 5th, even high school sometimes. So thinking about this is how language develops, and we're really used to doing that with babies and toddlers. So how do we do that with our bigger kids? Because honestly, even my older kids in wheelchairs, when they run me over with their wheelchair, it's still the dramatic, oh, my leg, I'm never going to walk again. Oh, my goodness. And it's what you would have done with the toddler, but doing it in a way that's fun and engaging with older students too, because this is still language development, even when you're handing them the language when they're 12. You've still got to think language play at 12.
So turn to someone next to you and talk about that just for a second. I can make words here. Talk about that for just a second. Like, how can you incorporate this play into AAC learning? Maybe how you've seen it or how you could do it. And those of you online, if you want to throw something in the chat, that would be awesome. I hope my online people heard that. If you want to throw something in the chat, that would be great. Okay, we're getting close. I think so. Yeah. You know. Oh, okay. So 10, 10, and 10 would be perfect. Okay. Okay, we'll give you guys 30 seconds and then we're coming back. I got that. Thanks. How to make it play. Okay, guys, coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whenever I do that, I think about that scene in the Wayne's World movie where they're doing the countdown. Does anybody remember that in the TV studio? Anyway. What did we talk about? Do we want to take some comments from the chat first? What do we got from chat?
You want to read them? Did you? Oh. Okay. A couple things from the chat is, sorry, have some pop-ups. We'll admit somebody so they can hear. Preparing for break room interactions for work. We had students choose from 4 interactive activities with peers using their devices. Yay on jokes. The Reg Ed kids, oh, you went too far. Want to see the kids with a device to interact. During a board game, have students participate on AAC devices saying, my turn, your turn, this is fun, I'm winning. For older kids who love Lagoon, to go to YouTube, find a video of a ride they want to go on, and we'll talk about it. And we yell and say how fun it was to ride fast, slow, rough. Remember to use, what do you think that word? Annotation, sorry. Intonation, yes. And facial expressions, adding favorite mini video clips on the device.
Thank you so much, Ken. Those were awesome. Thank you so much, all of those comments. Anything else from the room here in the back? Wind up toys, yeah. That's a great idea. So just to recap what she said in the back, younger kids, wind-up toys are great because you can do stop, you can do go, you've got directions, all of that kind of stuff. Oh no, if it hits something. And then for older kids, gifts, not gifts, but you know what we're talking about? All those funny little pictures that kind of time loop back and forth. Yeah, that's perfect. Gifts, memes. I love it. So many things you could talk about with that, and so age appropriate. I love it. I get the feeling I'm preaching to the choir a little bit here, which is, that's okay. We can all sing together right here. Okay, I'm going to pass the microphone for this one because I'm not going to be able to say all this. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so we have a student who's in 10th grade, and one of my favorite things that one of our parents has done with him is like for English class, they were writing letters, having him write letters to ask a girl that he was interested out on a date with. And so talk about all these different correct things with English grammar and things that he's creating on his AAC device, but also the correct social structures and stuff that are going on. And that he's super interested and he's trying to like write jokes and things that are funny to her to like get her to laugh and everything like that. And he was way more engaged and way more like quicker with his language, like output with this as a motivator. And it was so fun to watch that.
All red light, green light. Yes.
Yeah. And I love that dating story because how much more powerful did AAC become not only in that situation, but going forward? If I can ask out a girl with this, I can make a friend with it. I can take a job with it. I can do something else with it. I can't just do math and say, today the weather is cold. Yay me. I can use this. That is so powerful. Red light, green light, any sort of game is super fun.
Anything else? We could just do this for the next couple hours. Yeah, please, in the middle. Okay, I'm going to pass the mic to you, actually. Let's do that.
I'm trying to use some story retell in my middle school self-contained classroom because I've got the higher level Down syndrome kids who have the language, and I have some lower level kids where we're just barely modeling, but we can use like Simon's Cat videos or Story Champs, simple stories where we're not doing the whole sentence for each story element, but even if I can get a word per story element so they can tell stories to people.
And again, that's powerful because we're using it in a way to retell stories that were had, but also that makes it powerful because what did you do this weekend is a story that a lot of times it didn't get asked because it takes too long to wait for an AAC student to be able to find what they did this weekend. But if we're building those stories, we're building where to find the language, we're building how to put those in order, then that's going to help them in so many social situations.
Yeah, and I love that these are things you can do with your verbal students, with your AAC learners, with everyone. Like we can all play together, and so beautiful. Anything else? I don't want to miss any really good comments. We are going to move on if you don't, but I'm going to give you a chance. Please. Kate's going to run it back to you.
Go me.
Yeah, so we just play Pokemon together because the one I have really loves Pokemon. And so we've added a whole bunch of Pokemon to his board. Like we created a board for him for Pokemon and Nintendo. And my son has Pokemon cards, so I just bring some and have him tell me how to play Pokemon.
See, and that's powerful too. Following the kids down whatever weird rabbit hole they have, because they all have something that they like to do. And it may be something that you're like, well, I don't know if we should be doing that at school. For true communication, for once they leave the school, you should 100% be doing it at school.
I'm getting the vibe, I'm getting the feeling that you guys get this. And I think what we all need to do is we need to do more of this. We know how important this is. We've seen it, we've done it, we just need to do more of it. So we're going to keep going. This is an important part. Follow the leader. This is something that can make it really meaningful and rewarding. Who is the leader in AAC learning? When Cynthia has a device, is it the teacher, the peer tutor? Who's the Cynthia? Who's the leader?
You're telling Cynthia, well, go find your color page. Is Cynthia communicating? Cynthia's now responding.
There may be times when communication partners are the leader because that's give and take. But yeah, if you can follow the AAC learner's lead whenever possible, you're going to maximize engagement and buy-in. Comment from online.
Take advantage of the different voices. I have one student that uses the bad guy when he's in a bad mood, or the English accent when he wants to try to be smart. And yes, he changes the voices by himself. Another comment about the love of the bad guy, which I love also.
Yeah, if you've got fun voices on your device, that I've even seen those as reinforcers sometimes. Yeah, you can use the bad guy voice.
Yeah, and when I'm working with my students, I have a normal voice, but when I go into another classroom with a new student who doesn't know me, I 100% have a weird voice. Because then that student who has never seen me has no idea who I am. You use AAC and you sound weird. I win.
So we can follow their lead when we're choosing what activities to do. We can't always do this, of course, but when we can, that's awesome. We can follow their lead in interactions that we have. When we're modeling, we can, and I'll explain this a little more when we're modeling AAC. So some examples of following the leader. This is an example from Kate, fixing jumbled sentences and talking about emotions.
So I've got a couple of students that I work with, and one of them I have pages built because he has all the passion in the world. So we have pages of football and pages of food and pages of things. But then when we go to talk about it, he'll say like chocolate chips, ice cream. Like, wait, you like chocolate that's chips that's ice cream? I have never heard of that before. So he has the page and he wants to talk about it, but then we tease about it. We talk about it like that's a silly thing. Let's see if we can make that sentence make sense. And so we use what he used as legitimate communication, but then we go in and we say, I like chocolate and chips and ice cream. Oh, is there a certain kind of ice cream? So you expand on it. So if you've got a kid at that level, what they said is powerful, but we want to shape it. And then for emotions, I have a kiddo who's working on being able to express emotions because we don't say when we're sad, we just act out. So then for his emotions, we go to the emotion page and I let him pick emotions and then I act them out. So, oh, you're grumpy. Oh, and then he'll find sad. Oh, sad. And then I'll find bored. Oh, I'm bored. And he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world because then he picks the ones that he thinks I'm the silliest in. And then I act one out and then he has to find them. So just making it true communication and making it engaging.
Love it. Yeah, following his example, following his lead. Let him choose. This is an example. Cynthia's on our team. She's awesome. She's in the back. We were out at an elementary school and we had a little kiddo, a kindergartner, who had a device for just a couple months. And he was on his break time. He was watching Cocomelon on YouTube. And we were trying to model while he was watching. And he really wasn't paying attention to us. He was paying attention to his video, right? But then every once in a while, something would happen in the video and he would look at us. Like, do you see what's going on here? And he was trying to engage. And that's when we realized, bam, that's when we pause the video and we model, because he is giving us the lead. He wants to talk about this. There's a bear. He's got big fuzzy ears. We can talk about that. So, I mean, we still tried to model throughout, but when you can see that they're trying to engage and you're following their lead, it makes a big difference. And then, oh, I had one more. Do you want to give yours, Monique? Do we need, or are we running out? Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. You guys get the idea. Yep, we get this. So game time, we talked about most of this already. On the playground, this is on our wish list. We're trying to get some universal playground AAC boards so they can actually have those out there. It's really hard to go out on the playground with your device. So we're trying to figure out other ways to do that. That's been done. We just haven't done it yet in our district.
One-pagers that are important to your kid are
in the back.
I was gonna say a couple of years ago, I wanted to do this, and you can, if you check into your local printing shops and stores, like they can make. We had them made on metal signs and put the rivets in them, so we just zip tie them to the fence like that, so they're weather resistant. And you can talk to them about, hey, it's going to be a sign that's outside, to have the UV protection and factors, and it was less expensive than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I think it was like $80 or something, but it's a huge, like it's a big one. That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't a huge significance. And we have a NEBO Foundation grant stuff. So if you have any grant stuff, they matched it and met it, and it's been super fun. And we taught it to all the kids, taught all the grade levels how to use it with the kids.
I love it. Thank you. UCAT will make signs too for free here in Salt Lake.
And they made their board just by screenshotting it, so it was the board that they wanted. And yeah, and I have a poster in my classroom that's a big poster. And the big thing is, I have a couple of my just gen ed kids that have never, because I have my life skills kids are 3rd through 6th, so like my younger grades that haven't ever had that experience, but they come to my room and every day they're like, okay, can I make a sentence? What am I gonna, so they come in and it gets the other kids involved in what can I say to.
Yeah, we're flying through. Playing with toys, science experiments. There's a ton of awesome interactive science experiments on YouTube you can totally do. It's amazing how much language you can get out of a balloon or a bucket of water. Word plays, jokes, we talked about that. Smart speakers. My kids love to tell Alexa, I'm your father. And then she goes, no, that's impossible. But you could program the device, and that's totally awesome. Families. The biggest thing here is we want families to play as well, and we just need to give them permission to have fun. Let the school worry about all the boring stuff, and just let them do what the other siblings are doing. They're playing with Barbies, they're reading books. We can make it fun at home too. We can give them examples, we can give them permission. Okay, we're not going to have as much time as we wanted, but we're still going to have at least 5 to 10 minutes. So what we have is, and you online people, Kate's going to be with you in just a minute. Here in the room, we have 3 stations. We've got about 30 people, so about 10 each. Here's what you got to do. You're going to work, if possible, in groups of 2 or 3, where you can practice engaging and modeling. We've got on the table, we've got just paper AAC boards front and back with a lot of vocabulary that you can use for that. We want you to participate in the activity. We want you to take turns modeling, talking about it while also pointing to symbols on the page. So if you're over here and you're drawing and there's a draw word on there, you can say, I draw, or whatever it is. Shoot for 5 to 10 models each, if you can. So over here underneath the clock, we've got, it's actually a drawing activity. It's not a coloring activity. And Andrew is going to be in charge of that one. In the back, we've got flashcards. SLPs love flashcards, and it's the who can make the most comments game. So when you see a picture of something, you get to comment about it, and we'll see who can do the best comment. And then up here, you can come up here, and this is actually, someone talked about Simon's cat. This is where you're going to watch a video, so you're just going to pull up a video on your phone. We recommend just search YouTube for Simon's Cat playlist, and you'll get a bunch of these. I just learned about it the other day. They're really awesome videos. Or choose your own video. I don't care what you watch, just, as long as it's appropriate for everyone. But watch the video, make a comment about it. Questions? Yeah, perfect. Yes. So we're going to mute the house, and Kate is going to unmute her mic. She's joined on her iPad, and she's going to take control of the webcam for everyone in virtual land and do that. So any questions before we mute the house and we get going? Yeah, it should. Oh, we also have pages out there of things you could say. So, requesting, these are things you could do on your boards, and find other things you could do as well. So we've got, if you're online, I forgot to say this at the beginning, if you have downloaded our presentation from Sketch, on the back I've got these AAC playboards. If not, I will just try to kind of rotate through these a little bit so you can see these boards that we're using in the room to talk as well. Okay, so we're going to go for 5 minutes, see how that goes. If we're having a great time, we'll just go for another 5 minutes. We're actually presenting next hour, so if we run out, no, just kidding, we won't go that long. But on your marks, everybody know what you're doing? Ready, go. Yeah.
No, they're on.
All right, so if I talk on here, can you guys hear me?
Turn those off. We turn that one off, Robert, wherever you put those. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I was hearing you, sorry. I think it was this. Turn that one off.
Okay. Have we got it? Okay. You hear me, Kat? Okay, so I'm gonna steal this camera.
Turn the volume. Probably there. I don't think that. Is the from that one or from this? Yeah, maybe turn it all the way.
Okay, is that any better?
I think I turned it all the way.
If we turn on the room, can I talk on the mic? And they won't be up there? No? Try.
There is an interference from background noise.
Okay. Is that any better? Still bad?
We should use this. The mic's right there.
Oh,
okay.
So we can't, can we turn on the volume in the room but still have the mic?
We're just going to have to tell them they're just going to have to.
Or you just got to go in the hallway. We're done with that.
Can I do the what?
Hallway's quiet.
The hallway. Well, I'm.
there's a bed
Yeah.
to sit on. But if you use your webcam from here.
Oh, okay.
Want me to move the webcam? No.
You have 5 minutes. Maybe we'll just take it. We'll just talk. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can be.
Ditching everyone. Run away. Okay. Whew. All right, you're following me down a rabbit hole. Sorry, everyone. Okay, we'll go hang out in this corner. Oh. Okay, so we've got your communication board. You should be able to see it online too. Can I get it in the right spot? It moves slower than me, so I'm catching it. All right. So your job online is to make as many comments as you can using only these words. Let me see the chat.
Okay, okay.
It is the AAC playboard. It should be up on the presentation screen too. Beautiful, I like it.
I hope no one's taking a picture. That's right.
Oh, this one's sitting to their waist.
So we could say, I have to go, stop, have to go. I want more, all done, help me, I want to draw, I like it. It's bad, it's good. Help draw. I see it, I can't see it clearly, I like it. Well, that could just be that you can't see, I'm trying not. It's your turn. You could say things like if we were coloring, we could say, where are more colors? So can they see the board on in the room if I switch to a picture?
Are they reading comments? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we probably got one more minute and then we need to go back in.
Beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to show you. Let's pick a picture. So now I want you to tell me about a picture, but think about words you can use on the board and words you can add to it. So if you were modeling for a kid, what could you say about this fish and use just one or two words on here, but then you could add words. Like you could say fish good. I don't like fish. So you could say don't like fish.
Don't like it.
I see fish. Perfect. Think pretty. I love that. I like the fish. Because you could ask questions too. You could say, have you ever caught a fish? You could say, where have you seen fish before? You can make comments about your shirt is the same color as the fish. The fish is small. Perfect. Yep, fish in water. Awesome. Stop fish. If I don't like the fish, I can say I stop it. I want the fish. Ooh, draw the fish. Perfect. Where is the fish? And then we have the other side of the playboard too. So you could have a couple of single playboards. You could have a device. You could have anything.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up and go back in.
So you could say, I'm excited about it. I don't like it. Oh, I'm bored with the fish. I'm angry about the fish. You could say all the different things. See all those beautiful comments you had with one single board.
Okay,
right,
we're
thanks,
headed
guys.
back in the room.
Do you want to mute it and lost my camera so I don't interfere in the room?
Okay, we need to finish back up and head back to our seats. Okay, now you guys are having too much fun. Seriously, there's limits, folks. So we were going to take 5-10 minutes at the end and do this nice big discussion and recap, but we don't have time. And honestly, I don't think you guys need this. You get this. What we need to do is figure out how to do more of this. So we're just going to stop. Oh, it's over there. We're just going to leave you guys with this. I want you to turn to your partner and tell them one thing you're going to do when you get back to your real job. One thing you're going to do more of, because you're already doing it some, or something new you're going to do to bring more play into your AAC learning. So turn to your partner. Oh,
Wait for me to talk because I have to talk. My takeaways for this: play is messy. Know that it is messy. Know that it is going to be a disaster. You're going to drop your device. You're going to not be able to find anything. Accept the mess. Accept the chaos. And don't overthink it. It can be simple. You can use only one word on this and say 12. I don't care. It's the idea of modeling and that AAC is part of play. Don't overthink it. Play is fun. Play is messy. Now turn to your partners.
can you guys? I can't restart the slideshow. Can we do it from the laptop? Or? I'm clicking, but it's not doing anything.
It's not going to power.
I know. I guess we're done anyway, so not a big deal. Oh, now it's going. You just click the right thing. Okay, guys, we want to get you out of here just a minute early, so coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get ready to stop the presentation. Okay. Thank you guys so much. That's all we have. Any final parting words? Anyone want to get the final word? We're good. Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Robert and Kate, so much. This is for you guys. Just before we head out of the session, reminders are there are QR codes, and I just saw on my phone an email from Austin about feedback for the sessions that you're in. Also, there are QR codes set up around, and I believe they'll be emailed out as well to sign up for Midas credits. So don't forget to do that. Yes. Good. Oh. Okay. Okay, online. She's saying that just check your email. Check your email. If you are not registered and you need it, you need to email Austin to get the link sent to you, or go to the. You'll get an email today through Eventbrite as well that should have the link just for those of you online.